Every year there seems to be a new movie about 9/11, to the point that there's one for almost every letter of the alphabet. And with it being a pretty big event that happened in America, it's no surprise that there are so many movies about it, and books, and documentaries, and game simulators on it. And like the latter, there's always those properties that come out that seem a little disrespectful or in poor taste, and when you realize that if you were to take out the 9/11 element, then it would really just be a bland story with poor characters, third grade level production, and honestly not even be making a statement about that day. So ultimately, it's pointless. And so Charlie Sheen decided to produce this year's literally AIDS-ridden 9/11 movie, which is geniusly called 9/11. And as soon as the trailer dropped, it got dookied because Charlie Sheen was in it.
Well, I think somebody is running at him right now with a tape recording of what I just spoke and said, they're on to us, man. He's back.
But besides the conspiracies, it did look like dookie. Like, the whole thing feels like a table read or the rehearsal before they actually yell action. Like, Jeremy Jahns does better green screen than what you see in this movie. They forget at points to mic some of the actors, and you're hearing their dialogue through the other person's mic. However, in order to fully give the movie the benefit of the doubt, I did my duty and went to go see it so you don't have to. And yes, it's dookie. Now, I don't know why the director who made National Lampoon's Cattle Call and the unofficial Raging Bull sequel that resulted in a lawsuit called The Bronx Bull would be given any money to make this movie. But they did. And it's a movie that's based off of a play which the director didn't even watch, and where a group of people are trapped in an elevator when the planes hit. It's literally mimicking the idea from Crash, where you have all these different storylines that end up intersecting, except they really escalated on the Crash part here. And if you couldn't notice it in the movie, the director himself literally explains in a podcast that
it was cool, man. It was just a cool idea. All these people from different denominations in an elevator, stuck in the World Trade Center on 9/11, and having to sort of face their demons, their baggage, their differences in culture and political views, their religious beliefs.
Which is cool. That idea is very cool. Except what he did with it was have the black dude randomly say racist things, just so I can, I guess, mention it in this video. The Puerto Rican constantly reminds you that he's Puerto Rican. A girl showing you that she's becoming an independent woman. And Charlie Sheen is a rich dude who's actually really cool and down to earth and just like your average worker, guys. It's a movie that may have good motives, but motives don't mean anything if your execution is terrible. So yeah, we have a bunch of people trapped in an elevator, and Whoopi Goldberg is at the control center, even though she should have left a long time ago, but she's there because she's the only one with a point of view on what's going on outside. Now, I've made videos in the past where I express my thoughts on these types of movies that deal with real life events, and I still stand with the idea that if almost 3,000 people died on that day, then why does your movie center around fake people? It's not to say you can't make a compelling story out of fictional characters that may embody heroes from that day, but when your characters don't reflect any real victims because you invented them, then you're to blame for every stupid thing they do. Like the way they drag to get out of the elevator, the random fights they get into, how they Shawshank their way out of the elevator but then have to go all Tower of Terror and survive going down 37 stories at full speed minutes before the tower collapses, and then most of them walk away. Except, of course, Charlie Sheen, who the movie sets out to make a hero. Because not only is he getting a divorce in the movie, which ironically death beats him to it, but he's literally perfect. Not only did he own 3 stories of one of the towers, which he just randomly tells you, but he's super calm, cool, and collective when they're in the elevator. Like, this dude is offering these poor peasants jobs when they're choking on smoke, and he has the audacity to even crack jokes. Hey buddy, have you heard the one about the billionaire who offered the black biker a job? Nah. Well, you did now. Keep digging us out. And considering he's done very little promo for the movie, I wondered why he was even in it. Like, I understand why Luis Guzman was in it, since he lost friends on that day and maybe thought that this would pay tribute to them in some way, the way that Ray Liotta did the Identical because he had a connection with abortion. Of course, both of them ended up being very terrible movies, even though I highly recommend the Identical because it's like the Christian version of The Room, so watch it if you can. But in terms of Sheen, I found out that he had actually passed on this movie. It was actually the director who wanted him so bad,
maybe because of his connection to Wall Street, I'm not sure,
that he actually went to his house and bugged him for hours until he said yes. What made him agree to it? Well, not only did he get a producing credit, but he got his own dude to rewrite the script, and where the big change was that he became the hero at the end, where everyone gets to leave the elevator and live, but he dies saving them. And get this, with the final image being of him and a firefighter dying together. Like he's visually trying to compare himself to the firefighters that gave their lives on that day. Now, some may not be convinced that the man can be that egotistical, even though I just mentioned that it was his decision to end the movie like that. And as I just said, it's also the final shot of the movie. Forget that this was supposed to be the POV of all these characters intersecting. Nope. The moment Sheen goes, so does the movie. No aftermath to follow these people and how they cope. No seeing them reunite with their families that they kept cutting to throughout the movie. Nope. Gotta end it with that final shot of Sheen being a hero so you remember him being a hero. And look, the thing with 9/11 movies is that they're never gonna live up to that day. In every single one that you watch, it's the real life footage that gives you those goosebumps, not whatever the cinematographer shoots. There's a bunch of imagery throughout cinema that shows disasters that go beyond what happened on that day, but they don't have the same emotion. And that's why a bunch of these crappy films rely so much on that date. They pretend like they have an emotional movie when they're just playing on you remembering where you were when the planes hit. But what they keep forgetting is that the focus when making a movie like this should be on the real heroes of that day, not creating fake ones.